triggering change, one heartbeat at a time. Battle for freedom. Hello everyone, this is Watson Prunier from Battle for Freedom on Mojo5 Radio. Glad that you can join me today as we start this week off. We're going to do this week the right way, and I'm hoping that many of you are awake now. If you want to do this correctly, why don't you start your day off with some American Pride Roasters coffee. This is the stuff that I love, and this is the stuff that I enjoy sharing with you. Watson Prunier and Battle for Freedom. That's it. I've hit the snooze button a dozen times, and now I have to finally get going. But I'm not going to do this day right if I don't start it off with a cup of American Pride Roasters coffee, the official coffee of Mojo5 Radio. But I'm not going to lie to you. They have a wide variety of blends, but I'm leaning towards the one that's named after me, Watson's White Chocolate Caramel. You know what? It sounds as good as those words that just rolled off of my mouth. Listen, get it today, AmericanPrideRoasters.com. Tell them that Watson from Battle for Freedom sent you, and you want Watson's White Chocolate Caramel blend to start your day off. Join American Pride Roasters Coffee and Mojo5 Radio, and most important, Battle for Freedom, as we celebrate the best coffee in the nation, American Pride Roasters. Yes, not only American Pride Roasters, folks, what we want to do is we want to not only that, we want to enjoy with many opportunities as we can with the different other sponsors we have. Sometimes it's getting your mind together. Sometimes it's just getting your brain connected so that you can be ready for the worst case scenario. So the video will come out later. Seems like there's something wrong streaming up to all you beautiful people out there on the internet. So if you don't catch this on the video side, just wait till later and you'll get a chance to see what's going on. So just tune into iHeartRadio and listen from there as we sit here talking about what's going on and getting the content out for everyone to listen and learn. Not only that, we also want to talk about New Life Holistic, one of our other sponsors, and this is what they have to say. Does your mind seem like it often shuts down before it even starts? Sounds like you need to detox to improve your health in body, mind, and spirit. I'd like to tell you about New Life Holistic. It is an amazing therapy process that uses neurofeedback and biofeedback for many issues that ails everyone. New Life's method and approach to health, balance, energy, and vitality is what sets it apart from anything you have experienced ever before. Call 1-833-4-BIO-LIFE and tell them Watson from Battle for Freedom has sent you. One more thing, give them the code MOJO50 and save $50 off of your first session. The consult is free. New Life Holistic. Yes, check out New Life Holistic. Share it with as many people as you possibly can. And hopefully, as you go through this broadcast and hopefully as you listen to this, hopefully there can be some hope. I know I said that word a lot, but it's really sad as I see here talking about the old idea of revenge best not served, rejecting the darkness. You know, I want to talk to you about this issue of hatred that has overcome our nation, and it's very disturbing to see the level of malevolence that's going throughout the nation. You remember last week I told you about the idea of, you heard it by now, the president and first lady had come down with, both come down with COVID-19. And what we watched over the weekend was nothing short of just disgust. Nothing short of disgust as we watch people celebrate the idea, people happy, people saying that they hope that the president would die. And it was very disturbing. It was very troubling to watch the level of anger, the level of frustration, the level of just disgust that you saw in a lot of the individuals who were out there. And I'm trying to make sense as to why in the world would you sit here and carry on like this? You know, people are getting angry. People are just getting tired of what being heard, or they just don't like the way that the president operates. And how convenient the time within 30 days of the elections, the president of the United States of America takes ill with COVID-19. And oddly, just the people on his staff. Someone brought it up as a great point of concern and contention, is that here it is, we're looking at Here it is. We're looking at, what is it? Near, I don't think there were any Democrats who were affected by this. So how in the world can you sit here and celebrate the idea and the issue that the President of the United States of America is sick, and many of the people who wanted him to reject hate are now turning around and showing this hateful mentality, this hateful disposition that is just downright disgusting. And as I sat there watching this and I'm trying to make sense, I'm like, how can these people carry on like this? How can these people sit here and feel so comfortable being so evil? And I talked to you about it the whole time. Jeremiah 17:9, the heart's deceitfully wicked beyond all measure. Who can know it? Who can know it? And as I'm sitting here listening and I'm thinking about this, people are so eager. They are so eager to turn around and spread the hate that they don't even realize that they're doing it, or they figure out some mystical way. Now, mind you, understand this, we should be convicted. Those of us who are not on the left, those of us who are not Democrats, those of us who are not liberal progressives, we should be convicted on this. Understand that there was a time when we were doing the same exact thing. We were carrying on in some speech. We were carrying on in some language. It didn't have to be with former President Barack Obama. It could also be the same with anybody in our lives, in our jobs, whomever. At some level, the evil, the wickedness, with the wickedness that we were seeing, it was unfortunate that we keep thinking that, oh, see, this is exposing the left, but I'm saying that it's exposing all of us. It's exposing all of us, the level of malevolence that you're seeing in society. Don't think that this is just a liberal progressive thing. Revenge best not served. I wish you could see the graphic that I used, but I used moldy food. You don't serve moldy food. Restaurants, they usually throw away moldy foods unless it's a restaurant for zombies or something like that. Well, zombies don't eat moldy food unless it's molding your brain. But I'm sitting here and I'm watching this thing, and it finally hit me. This is us. The roost is coming to crow or row, or the chicken's coming to roost right now. That's the phrase. And we're starting to see sides of America, sides of us that it's very disgusting. It's very alarming, right? It's very troubling to see how far we would go to share our hate and share our disgust because of the fact that we're just that messed up. And I'm trying to understand, how do we get this far? People sit there and they want to blame the church about, the failures of us. But I talked about this last week when I was debating, I was debating, what is it called? What's the name of that place? What's the name of that place? Oh, critical race theory. When I was debating critical race theory, it was very just troubling. And I didn't understand why. And it hit me as I was talking about this, as we looked at what was going on in the church, as we looked at what's going on in society. You had this disgusting behavior that was seeping its way through society, and we could not understand why it is that we carry on and say the words that we said about the President of the United States of America. Oh, Lord, help us. Lord, help us. This weekend, I had a chance to watch a couple of Netflix movies, and it was one my wife and I, we started watching yesterday, not Ralph Macchio, but what's the name of it? Cobra Kai. We started watching Cobra Kai, and as you sit here watching the first couple of episodes, and we're watching these people who, everything is based on revenge, people being angry, people living in the past. And I'm sitting there thinking, I'm like, why are you so angry? Why are you so just disgusting? And it's people living in the past who cannot figure out a way to get over themselves. They're so angry, they're so jealous, they're so envious. They have to figure out a way to be angry with the word or with the world, And so they choose to just let that disgustingness carry itself out on everybody else. And I just don't understand why. I don't understand why it's come to this far that we're watching the level of malevolence that's going on. And I'm sitting there thinking, I'm like, you know what are you doing? How are you contributing to this? In your home. We don't have to go to social media. Go in your home. How do you treat and talk to your spouse? How do you treat and talk to your kids? This level of disgustingness is just, it's ransacking our lives. Folks, we can't hide how dark we are, because it has made itself manifest in the way we treat one another. It is so disgusting. It is so horrific. I'm sitting here watching all of this. I'm watching the anger. I'm watching people who are just downright disgusting with one another, and then they get angry that they don't understand why it is that people don't want to be around them. Families have been devastated. Families have been decimated because of the fact that we have allowed the evil, we've allowed the disgusting behaviors to come in and affect our lives. And many of you don't seem to understand. It's the way we treat one another. It's the way we treat one another that has basically been screaming out loud as all get out. And it's heartbreaking. It really is heartbreaking. I don't know why it is that we feel so comfortable being so evil, so wicked. And that's another thing I want you to understand too. That was another show that I watched this past weekend. Evil. He came out on Netflix. It's with the character from Luke Cage. And he plays this priest as they're sitting there trying to fight evil and everything like that. And I'm not going to lie to you. It was very disturbing. It was very disturbing trying to watch this show because of the fact that they had turned around, and I'm telling you, it is disturbing as all get out. I've told you about me watching some dark shows, okay? But the reason why the TV program Evil troubled me all the more was because of the fact that it involved children. It involved children. The disgustingness that you see. The disgustingness that you see when we watch and we pay attention to that surrounds us. We keep thinking, you know, when I show you this disgusting stuff of moldy food, well, I'm not, and we see the disgusting moldy mentality that's behind the disgustingness that's behind what are affecting people, what's disgusting people. I'm watching this thing unfold in this TV program where these people are figuring out a way to get the darkness into the lives of these children. And the parents are apathetic and indifferent to what's going on in their children's life. Oh, we can think, because even now, what really bothers me is because we're going to have to get rid of our Netflix, subscription. As you sit here, and it's not because of cuties. It's just over the last year. When we look and we try and find things for kids that are, TV 7 and under, or TVG and under, G7 and under, it's difficult to find anything because of the fact that with the people which you watch out, you see ghouls, you see goblins, you see vampires, you see mummies, you see, and it's not even just because of its Halloween season. This stuff shows up long before any of the stuff ever hits the airwaves, the stream lists. That our kids are constantly finding all this disgusting filth. And I'm telling you, I'm not going to lie to you, I do not recommend you watching Evil. Evil is, there's a level of malevolence in this that is so disgusting, so scary, that I don't think people fully understand. I don't think people fully recognize and understand how devastating it really is. I saw stuff where kids were just exposed to Ouija boards and just demonic things.
People sit here and what's worse is instead of checking the evil and the wickedness inside of them, they continue to just keep playing around and assuming that the stuff isn't going to catch up to them. And many of us, like I said, this whole idea is that what is it with you when many of the times when you're watching this thing and you're trying to make sense of what's going on? And people, you go reach into the refrigerator and you go to grab some food and you pull out the food, and whether it's bread or whatever, and you don't know how long it's been sitting there, you don't know how long it's been there, but all of a sudden you open a container, you open a bag, and you look, and everything is all moldy and disgusting. It was there in your midst, and you didn't know that it was there. You got so distracted with so many other different things that you didn't pay attention to the things that were critical. Mold developing on your food. Oh, that's pretty bad. What are the conditions to allow it to become that way? And what are you going to do different so that's not going to be a problem anymore? I'm sitting here and I'm watching this movie, I'm watching the series, and it's really, I'm not lying to you folks, it's disturbing me in ways that you cannot understand. As a father, this character had 4 girls. I have 3 girls. And when you guys sit here and you wonder why it is that we limit their TV exposure at times, when you sit here and you wonder why we limit their exposure to video games, when you sit there and we don't do sleepovers all the time, when you watch and you see what's going on in that TV show Evil, oh, I'm telling you, I thought that the Van Helsing series was scary. I thought the Van Helsing series was dark. The series Evil with the character from Luke Cage, because here's the reason why it bothers me so much when I sit here talking about revenge best not served. Is the you have to reject the darkness because of the fact that you don't realize is you reap what you sow. And as the ugliness is coming out in a lot of individuals, I have no idea why they don't see their own ugliness unless they've just been in the ugliness for so long that they can't see anything else. It's sad. It's horrible. It's pathetic. What saddens me more is that many people don't even think anything about it. They just keep carrying on in their lives like God's not going to be offended by their behavior. Literally, when you saw the rottenness of people over this past weekend celebrating the idea, and even as the president's getting better, there are people who are disturbed that the president of the United States of America is sick. Oh yeah, this serves him right. He better be wearing a mask. Again, the masks does nothing. It is a placebo. The masks, this is how you fix the issue of limiting the spread. The people who actually have coronavirus should be the ones who should basically be quarantined. And if you're concerned that you have coronavirus, go get checked. If you're concerned about having coronavirus, stop messing around and turn around and go get checked. It just doesn't make any sense. I'm watching this stuff unfold here, and people are just downright crazy, downright insane, downright just sickening. I'm watching this stuff unfold, folks, and I'm not going to lie to you. We're not rejecting the darkness enough to turn around and basically say, Lord, why should we ask God to bless America when we're sleeping with the darkness? When you see the level of malevolence and the level of hatred, the visceral hatred that just so easily comes out of our mouths, out of our hearts. Again, letting our emotions get the worst of us. The heart's deceitfully wicked beyond all measure. Who can know it? And this is the reason because again, many of you, the reason I bring up this TV show Evil and what they're doing and trying to get, it shows how easy our children can actually be affected by this, by indifferent and apathetic parents. That sometimes we just allow the evil to cross our door and darken our hearts and darken our spirits and put us in a position where it is just downright scary. It scares me. It scares me to see where we are as a people, as a nation. And we're not changing. We're not improving. We're just not doing well. And I'm watching this thing unfold. That I have to sit here this is not pre-Halloween jitters or anything like that. Don't think it's anything like this. Don't think this is, many of you are like, oh my goodness, here comes a religious freak and he's going to basically talk about, and I do have my concerns with Halloween. If you want to celebrate Halloween all to your delight, but understand that you are opening the doorways of darkness into your mind, into your heart, into your spirit. We keep dabbling on the edge of the spiritual realm and think that there won't be any consequences to our actions. And I'm sitting here thinking, why are you guys not bothered by this? Why are you not really scared by this? We should be quaking in our boots. We should be quaking in our boots as we watch our country descend into utter anarchy. There are people right now who are more offended. They are more offended by what's, about systemic racism and so much. And I'm sitting here thinking, I'm like, our country is burning. And it's because you guys have felt so much evil and harbored so much darkness in your heart that you're happy to allow our country to be devastated. Devastated. Oh. And this just drives me up the wall. This is so sad. Talking about darkness and needing some power in our lives. Let me do another one of our sponsors, and this is Patriot Energy.
Are your energy bills getting out of hand and you want more control of your expenses? Consider Patriot Energy, a local veteran-owned solar company. You need honesty, integrity, and clarity. These markers are essential in the ever-growing solar industry. Call 602-721-6717 for a free quote. Tell them that Watson from Battle4Freedom sent you, and he's from Mojo50 Radio. And that number again, 602-721-6717. Call Patriot Energy today.
Call Patriot Energy today, and what we'll do is put yourself in a position where in the midst of a darkness, in the midst of a power outage, in the midst of whatever, when you need your power there and available to you, have Patriot Energy and set yourself up to do it the right way. I'm not going to lie to you folks. I'm so troubled from this because of the fact that, again, I'm watching a lot of the streaming stuff. I told you about this last week, about my concerns about how most of the things, and it's not because it's Halloween season, but year round, week to week, the darkness that's on these streaming services, the darkness that's on our regular TV. I mean, to think the series Evil that I just watched was that on CBS or CBS All Access? And people are paying for the services of this stuff. I'm like, oh my goodness, why are they so free? Why are they so eager to get all this darkness out? And then I realize the darkness has to overcome. It has to overcome. People have to get the sense that they're in control and they can devastate things as bad as they possibly can. And I'm like, this is not a good thing. You cannot feel comfortable in your sin and in the darkness like this. Oh, folks, let me do this. Let me go to a break. When we come back, we'll talk more on the flip side. I'm your host, Watson 38 from the Battle for Freedom. We're talking about revenge best not served. Talk to you on the flip side.
This election will be vital to the health and sustainability of our country. Our role from this day on could steer the election in either direction. Why? The way we treat one another. In John 13:35, Jesus says, "By this all people will know that you are my disciples, if you have love for one another." We know that every election cycle brings out the worst in us. If there was ever a point for honesty, it is in how we act during election season. As much as we would want our candidate to win, attacking a person with contrary opinions only makes them determined to reject our point of view all the more. It may come off as ignorant from them, but we cannot claim innocence if we allow arrogance and disrespect to be the means in which we communicate with those who support the other party or other candidates. Our goal was and will never be to convert voters. Our role is to give them the information needed prior to them casting their vote. It is their choice and right of what they do with that information. Understand, more people are aware of the political corruption and hypocrisy than they wish or want to admit. So there's nothing for us to prove. Choose to be people who invoke change rather than people who irritate and strain. Dale Carnegie once wrote, "A man convinced against his will is of the same opinion still." In other words, give people the room to make their own mistakes. Without seeing that they were wrong, they would be blind to see what is right. Remember, every soldier present and gone have fought for the right of every American citizen to vote their own conscience. To insult and ridicule people for exercising their liberty to vote for their candidate is to also desecrate the efforts, memories, and sacrifices made by our heroes for said liberty. Please, show respect. Our nation depends on it.
Welcome back, everyone. This is Watson Prunier from Battle4Freedom on Mojo5 Radio. Listen, I just really appreciate you. My website, battle4freedom.com, battle4freedom.com. And the reason why I share this with you is because I want you to go. There's a lot of updates I'm making in some other article people that I'm going to be sharing that you're going to start seeing over the next 24 hours of just really great content that keeps you riveted and keeps you basically in connect with what I'm trying to do, what I'm trying to accomplish. Listen, Battle4Freedom isn't just about myself and the other different programs that you can listen to that's on Mojo5 Radio. You have to understand that there's a wide variety, and there are even upcoming new programs that you can listen to that's available to you right now on Mojo5 Radio, as many more people are trying out. Like yesterday, they started off between 12 and 4. Where we have this thing where there are different voices, there are different shows that you can listen to and you can vote on that's out there right now. I want you to do me a favor. All the first episodes of this open mic session that's going on right now are available for you at mojo50.com/open mics or open mic singular. If you have any question and you want to send feedback to the hosts or even the leadership at Mojo5 Radio, send that message to info@mojo50.com. This way, we get a chance to judge the different programs that are out there. We get a chance to judge the different networks and the different people that you can listen to that's out there. This is really key because of the fact that as we sit here and try and make a difference and we try and share so much more with you, you have to understand that there's a wide variety of opinions. There's a wide variety of perspectives that are on this network, and we're just so happy to share it with you. It's so cool that we can go down the line of all the different people that you can listen to, and that you can hear, and it's great. The reason why I say this to you is because of the fact that, again, there's so much. There's so much talent and perspectives. And I'm hoping that you can hear other opinions from other people. Sometimes that's the best way that we learn and we grow, is by listening and hearing from other people. Now, again, from what me talking about the darkness here is, I don't think many of you are surprised right now of the way that you're hearing some people speak. Many of you are surprised that you're even hearing the depths of how low people will go to share their evil intents and their evil hearts. And I'm sitting here thinking, I'm like, no, that was already there. They're lax. It's almost kind of like they had some drinks, or they're on some kind of drug that's suppressing their inhibitions. Because right now, a lot of people feel so comfortable in what they're doing that they just don't care. And it's very scary to see the level at which people just don't care about how dark their hearts can be. And I'm thinking we need to be scared, and we really need to be scared about how dark our country is getting, how dark our communities are getting, how dark things are just unfolding, because I don't think it's going to get any better. We are unrepentant. We are unfazed by any condemnation or judgment by God. And people keep thinking that there's going to be no consequence to their actions. Well, understand this, and understand this clearly. God is going to hold us accountable for what we're doing. God is going to hold us accountable for what we're doing if we do not get busy in rejecting the darkness. And the best way you can do that is to actually start off by moving into the light, starting in the light, accepting Christ. That's the part about it for me, again, about this program. The evil show is, here's this priest, and they're sitting there, and again, and it made me think about this too, is that even on our platform of conservatism or a constitutional republic or libertarian or whatever, as we sit here and we're not the left, we're not liberal progressivism, we're not the anti-God, party, but I'm sitting here thinking, I'm like, but what is it that we're doing that's actually exalting God? What is it that we're doing that's drawing people to God, that God should bless America? I'm sitting here, I'm thinking, I'm like, we're for people who are supposedly about God, we do everything we can to avoid talking about him. And we only want to invoke him when we desperately need him. And he should be in our conversation every day. See, I think that the reason why it's so easy to get into this idea of and trust me, I understand wanting to exact revenge on people who have done you wrong. I understand what that feels like. I understand, and I'm not gonna lie to you. It feels good when you're in the process of getting it done, but when it's done, when the sin's complete, how do you feel about yourself? Dirty, disgusting. You don't feel right, because you know that the actions you took, two rights don't make a wrong. We shared it in school, we shared it with our kids, but for some strange reason, that idea, that mentality doesn't hold water anymore. Because we're in this point, and trust me, understand this. Do I even like the weak whimpered Republican Party that's been going on for so long? No. Is there a part of me that's actually kind of happy that the president of the United States is not taking anything? He's serving the Democrats, the left, and the media what they've been serving us, and even Kayleigh McEnany. How she's sitting there and she's dropping the bomb on these reporters that are just so incessant. Oh, well, what was the president's blood sugar? What was the president's? Did he have oxygen? Did he do this? I mean, and it's like, you got everything you need to know. Why do you keep pestering? Why do you keep pestering? You keep pestering because of the fact that your life is only filled if you can have tension, if you can have darkness, if you can have intrigue, and But if the president's doing well and his everything is perfectly fine, you have nothing to sell. Why are we so hell-bent, maybe that's the word, hell-bent, on doing everything we can to find as much drama and insanity that's going on so that we turn around and we have other people who are just excited when we bring the scoop, when we bring the data? I mean, think about this. It could be literally, you're sitting here and you're watching disasters that happen in your community, disasters that happen in your street. You sit there watching people who are attacking each other in communities. who have no problem attacking other individuals, and you sit here and the first thing you do is pull out my phone. Oh, let's videotape this. Oh, wow, look at that. That's going on. Someone's being beaten up. A police officer needs help. A woman needs help. I mean, the idea that almost, what is it, a month ago? That there was a guy sitting there raping a woman 11:30 in the morning on a subway platform, and all people did was yell. All people did was scream at him, but no one had the gumption to turn around and kick the guy off of the person who was doing this. I mean, kick him off of the victim. We pull out our phones because it's so interesting how we turn around and we can be so unengaged because we have to stream everything. We have to be the first one to capture the news. And don't act like it doesn't happen to you. It makes me think. What do they call it? Rubbernecking. When you're back in New York or wherever it is that you see an accident, and the first thing you want to do is pull out your camera and take a picture, see, oh, what happened? Is the person alive? Oh, I want to get this. I want to get the scoop, and I can put this news out here. Because the fact that, and understand that darkness is a level of selfishness that's in our hearts that keeps us from actually engaging the correct way into society. I just don't. We are so engaged that we're not even human anymore. We're so connected in every way possible that we're not human anymore. Why are we not shamed in our behavior? Why are we not bothered in our behavior? It's because of the fact that the darkness has really overtaken us. When I sit here, and again, a few minutes ago, I'm sitting here talking about where is our faith being projected in our party? Oh yeah, it wasn't the Republican Party that had the prayer, the return last weekend, not this weekend, but the weekend prior. That language from there, we talk about that God, that we are all created in God's image, but we don't speak like that on a daily basis. We don't act like that on a daily basis. And then we wonder why our kids act up, and we wonder why our families are in just disarray. It's so easy for us to sit here and talk about the problems and in the ghettos and the problems that happens even in the trailer parks. We love those stories, right? Because we can say, look, there's dysfunction over there, and not talk about the dysfunction that's happening in our lives. I'm like, are we not bothered? Are we not offended? Are we not? And then the worst part about it is that all of a sudden, in the midst of all the muck and mire and the deception and the lies and the evil that we've just been taking into our lives, we never realize some of the things that we do that affects other people because we've been so wrapped up in hate. We've been wrapped up in so much hatred that we can't see anything different. And then when we're ready to exact justice on people, God's basically telling us, we're going to, I'm going to show you things about yourself that you're not going to be happy with. You're not going to be happy. It's not going to be good. I'm hoping that many of you will turn around and wake up, because if you don't, I'm really scared that you are going to be overwhelmed. There are certain things that I watch, and there are certain things that I see because I want to have a better perspective. And I'm not going to lie to you folks. Watching those movies over the last few weeks has given me a completely new, different perspective. I've watched these movies and I sit here and I understand why it is that we're so dark. We mess around in the spiritual realm. I remember when I was in New York and I was working at that accounting firm and telling my buddy about, me doing transcendental meditation, me doing things from Eastern mysticisms and things like that, Eastern religions that I was following. And I remember him saying to me, if you mess around in the spirit realm and you're not protected, you will be destroyed. We've been messing around. We've been dabbling around in the spirit realm for so long that we've been messing around in the spirit realm for so long that we don't seem to understand that it's catching up with us. It's catching up with us. We have not been rejecting the darkness. We've been embracing the darkness. What does the word of God say? That actually the people enjoy the darkness over the light? It's manifesting itself right now. Think about this. You have people who have no fear and no shame in the church, committing adultery, committing fornication, stealing. I mean, when the icon, again, church is not filled with perfect people. It's not. It's filled with sinners. No, and understand that I'm part of that group. There are days I'm Lord, please help me, cleanse me, make me more like you. But I'm not going to lie to you, folks. A lot of people are no longer going to church because of the fact that some way, somehow, the leaders who are there, who that people, they invest themselves into these individuals. Yes, be in church. Hebrews 10:25, forsake not the assembly, if some have done so. But you've got to find that assembly that, you know what, and you can deal with their level of dysfunction because you recognize that you're bringing your own dysfunction to the table. But then there are some churches that they don't reject the darkness because they don't see that they're doing anything that's dark. And then when their language is filled with revenge and their language is, black churches yelling out white privilege and white supremacy and systemic racism. Yeah, that's a language of revenge. When you sit here and you watch the protesting that's taking place across the landscape of our country, that's not making people woke. It's a language of revenge. When people say that it's okay that they have insurance and that'll cover the cost of the damages that are done to them, but we have to get our emotions, we have to get everything off of our hearts and share as much as we possibly can with people. That's not wokeness. That's not making people aware. That's revenge. And the word of God says, do not repay evil for evil. I will repay, says the Lord. Revenge is mine. I will repay, says the Lord. So why are we so consumed with this? And again, I don't think many of you understand here. You keep thinking, I think I'm some lofty Christian and I've got my life together. No. I understand that there is a fine line to walk in your lives daily, to basically turn away and not want to go Hulk smash on people or Hulk smash on institutions or a Hulk smash on a lot of different things that are just wrong in this country, in our communities, in our homes. I understand the need. It's so easy to destroy. It is so easy to destroy, but it's not as easy to build up. It's not as easy to set people free. But we don't think anything of that. We don't. Because of the fact that we've gone days without air, days without communication with the outside, days enclosed. Speaking of days enclosed, do you know about Cat Coolers, one of our sponsors? It's really interesting stuff. Check this out.
When the world is going to hell in a handbasket, you need rugged. You need strong. You need durable. You need Cat Coolers. These are the best coolers on the market in 27, 55, and 88 quart. Go to catcoolers.com and give them the code Watson to save 10% on your purchase. Don't settle for those substandard containers that melt, leak, and destroy your memorable moments. Tell them that Watson from Battle4Freedom sent you. Cat Coolers.
Yes, tell them about Cat Coolers. You have to understand something. I never take a situation for granted as I see the learning experiences that come from it. And I'm not going to lie to you, as I sit here and I review some of the things that I've watched here on social media, the things that I've watched on Netflix that has really affected me in a way that I never thought I would be bothered by this. Again, as I sit here looking at how evil and how just today is my mother's birthday. My mom's been gone since December 31st, 1988, 9 p.m. My mom had a tumultuous life because of recovering from the psychological damages and the PTSD from the voodoo militia that terrorized her life. That sat there and made her life a living hell. In Haiti is, everyone sits here talking about the whole idea of Haiti being so poor. But you have to understand that there's another dynamic that's happening in Haiti that people don't want to consider, and here's the reason why. Half of Haiti is broken into two different segments when you look at it on a faith-based system. You're either Catholic or you're voodoo. You're either Catholic or you're voodoo. And many people, you have growing amongst them. You have the Masons who are growing, the Freemasons who are growing there, and the voodoo people are afraid of the Masons. So, when you see the Masonic Lodge symbols and people keep thinking, oh, there's nothing to worry about. When you sit here, again, here's the idea of, okay, I didn't go to school. I didn't go to college and live on college campuses and be part of fraternity and sorority for fraternities. Of course, women are part of sororities, but who knows how that whole dynamic is held now in the age of gender fluidity. But one of the things that a lot of people, and I noticed this even in previous churches, you can't talk about. There's no way that you can talk about a fraternity or sorority. People get very violent. People get very offensive. You sit there talking about their sororities, not realizing how mind screwed that they sat there and they got it so into, oh, this is my family, these are my people. There are people who are so in love with their fraternities and sororities that they will defend it faster than they'll defend the body of Christ. They will defend their sororities faster than they will defend Jesus. They won't even flinch. It's just there. They're all in. They're fighting. They're defending it. And they don't care. And as I'm sitting here and I'm watching this thing, I'm like, and it's a level of evil that they don't even see it. The subconscious level of dedication that they have towards this, it's scary. And they don't even recognize it. And I'm saying, folks, you need to pay attention to what's happening here. You need to pay attention to what's being deposited into your life. Van Helsing season. Then you see some of these other programs that are out there. I watched The Gift season 2. There's another one that takes a very unique twist, a very unique twist in the whole process of watching The Gift season 2. But it just wasn't even there. There was a TV series I like in Avatar, The Last Airbender. Came out years ago. Watched it even when my kid, my son was younger. We watched that, and they came out with another series called The Legend of Korra. I had no idea that this was going to be a follow up of this. But as you sit here watching this, and this person is a little bit older than the Avatar, age-wise, because I think the original Avatar was like maybe 12. This new Avatar is maybe 17, 18 years of age. And as you're watching this thing unfold, and again, it's showing you the emotions that the person goes through, and it's showing probably a little bit more in terms of, relationships. It kills me as you sit here watching how much they're inundating our children with relationship stuff, demonic stuff, things that they can't be children. And I'm not lying to you. people are figuring their ways to get into your lives. People are figuring out how can they get into your lives and screw you over. Okay? This is what's happening right in front of us, and people don't think anything of it. Satan is trying to figure out a way to get into your lives. He's using his minions, he's using his demons, and he'll even use people close to you to get into your life and ruin you. And people aren't putting the right safeguards up in front of them to basically be prepared for the worst case scenario, which is nonchalant. Oh yeah, just go on and play, go on and watch a TV. I'm not gonna lie to you. Part of me wants me to tell you to watch. Part of me wants to tell you to watch a TV series, Evil, so you could watch what happens when apathetic and indifferent people are, and babysitters are watching your children. And especially when you let people hear, okay, there's a point where information is being shared with another individual, one of the other main characters in this show. She's learning how bad one other character in the show is. And it's still not enough to make them doubt a desire for a relationship, to be in a relationship with that person. And I'm sitting here thinking, that's happening right now. I mean, think about this. I've shared with countless people. Barack Obama, he ruined race relations in the world, in our country. Like, no, he didn't. I'm like, yeah. Every time that a black person was killed or shot by a white person or a police officer, Barack Obama was right to the podium to sit there and condemn it. But when the roles were reversed, he was nowhere to be found. Oh, that sparked a race war. The anti-cop rhetoric that's going on, it started under former President Barack Obama. No one wants to listen to that. We have Fusion GPS and everything that they were doing on spying on the President of the United States. The information is there, and more data about what Hillary Clinton was doing. And even with all the information, even with all the data about Hunter Biden and his ties to not just Russia, his ties to Ukraine, his ties to China, his ties to so much more, his ties to human trafficking, and people don't care. Is because of the fact that the darkness has been in our lives for so long that we don't want to see anything different. It's been in our lives for so long that we don't want to see different. And this is heartbreaking. I'm sitting here thinking, like, how can you feel comfortable with this? How can you feel comfortable with embracing this level of malevolence and evil and be completely silent to the stuff that's being right? But we're going to speak out against Donald Trump. We're going to speak out against Christians. We're going to speak out. And I'm sitting here thinking, like, they've been programmed. It's too late. It literally is too late. See, here's my word of warning for a lot of you right now who don't seem to understand what I'm trying to say. Right now, you're trying to save a lot of individuals because of the fact that you believe it's your effort, it's your work, it is your responsibility to pull them out of the darkness. No. Because you're exposing yourself and you're putting your neck out in a position where you're going to get hurt because you're doing everything in your strength and you're doing nothing in the strength of God. There are people that all you can do is present the truth to them and step back and let them fall on their face. Oh, but it's my parents, and I can't afford to watch my grandkids get hurt like that. We spend more time shielding people from the pain that they need to experience than just letting them experience the pain that they need to experience. And in the process of doing that, you remember how again, I got to go back to you reap what you sow. I go back to the idea of you reaping what you sow because of the fact that it's going to come back and blow you up in the face because of the fact that you didn't think that you'd be held accountable for your actions. You didn't think that there would be consequences for your actions of what you did. Sometimes they don't come immediately. Sometimes they show up when you least expect it. When you get a full serving of the filth and disgust and the mold and the evil wickedness that was in your heart, it gets served back to you. Folks, we've got to get out of this mentality of wanting to be so hateful. We've got to get out of this mentality of wanting to be so destructive, because I just don't think that there's going to be a safeguard in the near future. I don't think there's going to be I don't even think we're offered a safeguard today. A lot of people keep thinking that, the worst of it is not going to show up for another few weeks, another few months, another few years. There's nothing for us to worry about. No. That's where you get screwed up even worse. That's where it's more of a blind side when it hits you and you just ignored all the warning signs, and you ignored all the warnings, not just the signs, but the messages that have been given to you by people who are looking from the 30,000-foot view and saying, you're in dangerous grounds. We have to be very careful when the Lord says, vengeance is mine. You have to understand that only he can store up the energy of wrath and it not consume him, not us. Listen, I'm your host, Watson Prunier from Battle for Freedom. Brad Staggs and the Daily Mojo's up next if you're listening in the morning. And if you're listening in the afternoon, you'll be listening to Patriotically Correct. Again, I'm your host, Watson Prunier on Battle for Freedom. Folks, take care. God bless. I appreciate every last one of you. I'm out.